It is time to take a look at the Political Machine 2012, a game on Steam that I was quite interested in, being the person that I am. Made by Stardock Entertainment. They also made the Political Machine in 2008, which was a similar election simulator, featuring the bobbleheads, in case you now noticed from the beginning here. All of the presidential candidates are as their bobblehead forms, which is awesome. I think it's hysterical. So, very simply what this game is, at least this version, 2012 version, you pick a candidate and you run for the presidency of the United States of America. It is that simple. It's also much more in-depth, and I'll get into that when we play. I've already played 2 full games, 2 medium games, length games, which take, one, you know what you're doing, take about, how long did it take me? About an hour. Maybe a little bit longer. It does have a multiplayer component. I have not tested that or played that yet. But this is the load screen. Oh, you can actually... I didn't know that. You can click and have them bobble their heads. So real quick, tutorials. Pretty standard affair. It's not so much... I actually thought it was going to be like videos or play-by-play or play tutorials where you played and they explained it, but they don't. Reading through, it's a lot of stuff that I probably should have read through when I first played. I did not. But it's actually, like, if you think about it, and if you actually are interested in this type of game, you'll probably spend the time to slowly but surely figure out what it all is about. But the introduction, or the tutorial is kind of like a instruction manual. It is worth reading through it. It's quite nice. Options. A lot of options. Turns before auto saving. I haven't actually saved in the middle of an election. Music, event music, sound effects, map icon size. Yes. Draw outlines, resolution, all sorts of goodies there. It's not a heavily graphical game, in case you couldn't tell by the bobbleheads. It's not graphically draining, it's quite simple. So we'll go into a new game. We'll make it a medium-length one, that'll be simple. Get in sheet app, game name, campaign 2012. We'll stick with normal, starting fun, so game length is basically each week is a turn, so these are turns. Starting funds is how much money your candidate will start off with. I believe both of you, and here's the difficulty. We'll go with normal. Campaign 2012, it does take, it has the real, the Electoral College with all the votes, although I think there was a bug in, I don't know if they fixed it yet, I think they may have, where the electoral votes actually was a little bit lower, different than it should have been, because Census 2012 data was not taken into consideration or something. There was a forum question about that. But it has all the real populations, wealth, state wealth, which affects fundraising, and as well as the values, what, issue importance, what people care about in each state, such as, New Mexico and Arizona care a lot more about illegal immigration than, Iowa or Missouri. Whereas they care about farm subsidiaries, whereas Michigan's really the only state that cares about auto bailouts. California, it's quite interesting. So it's almost like you're playing the real campaign, or real, election. You can randomize all the values, which would make for a different, more interesting game, I guess, if you've played it a couple times. It does have a high replay value. And by doing the randomizing all that stuff, you'd have to, quickly take a look at your surroundings and figure out where where your character can be strong and where your opponent can be strong and everything. So So a laundry list of politicians. Only one of these I have not heard of. I don't know who Dennis Kucinich is. But apparently he has high media bias. But you've got your normal candidates, of course, Al Franken. These are the Democrats. Al Franken, Al Gore, Barack Obama, Dennis Kucinich. One little thing, I played against Barack Obama, and then I played as Barack Obama. Both times they referred nothing to the fact that he's been in office for 4 years. I think that would have been a little cool, where he would have had an advantage and disadvantage having been the president in the White House for 4 years. You could tout, as the Barack Obama, you could tout your experience and the fact that you know, all that stuff, especially since Obamacare is a big issue in the game, as well as people could attack President Barack Obama on his issues that he's been in the office for 4 years. A little bit more realistic, but that's okay. That's Kucinich. You've got Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, John Kerry, looks goofy, Michelle Obama, which is interesting because I don't know. You know what? When I played against President Barack Obama for the first time, he picked Michelle Obama instead of Obama. And I was like, what? And for his vice president, I'm like, what's going on? There's something wrong. And then I realized it was Michelle Obama. And then Nancy Pelosi. And then on the Republican side, you have Condoleezza Rice, Donald Trump, Herman Cain, John Huntsman, Marco Rubio, Michelle Bachmann, Mitt Romney, Newt Gingrich, Paul Ryan, Rick Perry, Rick Santorum, Rob Portman, Ron Paul, Sarah Palin, and then my character down at the bottom there. A much longer list of Republicans. I think that's because no one ran against President Barack Obama. So there was a whole lot more to pick Republican-wise, such as Ron Paul, Rick Santorum, Rick Perry, Newt Gingrich, Mitt Romney, Michelle Bachmann, John Huntsman, and Herman Cain all threw their hats in the ring, so those are easy candidates. And then Trump, Rice, Rubio, Paul Ryan, and Rob Portman have been some of the bigger forces, I guess, during that primary season, and Sarah Palin as well, of course, always seems to be in the news for some reason or another. So solid list, and you of course can create people, whoever you want to create, and we'll go with ODOG. ODOG. Apparently you can't use the tab button. ODOG. We will make him. We'll go with a Democrat, and he is from not New Mexico, New York. I did that the first time. Male, customized figurehead. So you got a whole bunch of funny and serious things. A doctor, shirt and tie, polo, Mr. Fancy Pants, fat guy, lazy man, suspenders, tough guy, apparently a mystical robe, snazzy sweater vest, cowboy, body of evil robot. I think we'll go with body of evil robot. Oh no, there are more. Suit 1, suspenders 1, suspenders 2. I think we'll go with I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Alright. That's interesting. It shows me as offline. Nope. Alright. I guess that's just a Twitch TV broadcaster error. TV broadcaster. Oh, okay. Anyway. Error. TV broadcaster. Okay. Yeah. So yes, so a couple of different options, and it's just a funny little. We'll go with knightly armor. Shirt. Lots of different colors. Go with the knightly look. Yes, we'll go with the awesome light violet that is. And will be black. You can get props as well for your character. I'm gonna go with the cape. Male and female. Oddly enough, I click female and it doesn't really change much at all. Although the options do change. So you got body, head, hair, face. A lot of different shapes and sizes, and you can alter it down here at the bottom. Got some old ones, roundish, round, robotic. So we'll go with that. And we will. I said we will. Gotta move that nose down, it's a little creepy looking. Also have to move the mouse down. Mouse down. Mouth down. Hair. Solid variety. Look, it's Abraham. No. Okay. So here's the first thing. When you click on stuff, it will adjust body size and all this stuff, which is nice, except for the whole entire fact that if you can't turn your character that way, you have to do it down here, and I keep forgetting that, or what I do. So I guess that's more. Whoa. Okay. I've never done that one before. I'll get back. So yeah, so actually right now I don't know how to turn my character. Oh, it's up at the top. Yeah, see, I'm an idiot. Alright, so you got your George Washington. I don't know what that is. That doesn't look like George Washington hairdo. We'll go with the George Washington hairdo. The big George Washington hairdo. Eyebrows. I don't know where the eyebrows are actually. They're hidden. Oh, there they are. It is a little bit awkward at times making stuff because the girth and all that alters stuff, so you've got to keep in mind all the different sizes, otherwise you get, like you shrink the hair and you get the balding spot in the back there if it's not big enough, so you must be careful of that. It's got a bunch of different colors. We'll go with the gorgeous gray. And the facial colors will be the same. And then the face, and clicking, and see, I click and it does that. So eyeballs, all sorts of different eyeballs. Cat eyes, clown eyes, angry eyes, sleepy eyes, clown eyes, spaced out eyes, kiss eyes, eye scars, keep dragging, anger, again, beady eyed, old eyes, put the old eyes, and then we will increase their size. Apparently, yeah, you can't really click, you have to click and drag. Apparently you can have no eyes as well. So then you've got a bunch of different facial ones. I move the mouth down. Drooling. Sneaky smile, smile. You don't understand my pain. Upset, angry, silly. Another one. Frowny. I can't tell whether or not that's happy or something else. I'll go with that one. The stoic George Washington. And of course the glasses and gas masks. Ooh, monocle. Of course, again, you'd have to. They don't fit right on your character. You'd have to move them and put them there yourself. That looks much more like Ben Franklin than George Washington, whatever. So then you've also you can alter the left or right eyes, or you can keep them symmetric. It's pretty cool. So the character creators, I mean, it's basically what you'd expect from a game that features graphics of a bobblehead. So Alright, so now to the important parts. The characteristics of your candidates. Stamina. It determines how many stamina points your candidate has, allowing for more actions per turn. This is really important. Each turn is a week. You have a certain amount of weeks. So the more stamina you have, the more stuff you can do. I do have a slight issue with stamina, although it has been made up for so far by the way that they fix it, which is quite nice. I'll explain that when we get in the game. Money, it determines your candidate's initial funds. That's all it determines. From what I understand, it doesn't determine anything else other than what you start with, so it's kind of one of those ones where it's a one-time deal. Fundraising, which of course kind of explains itself. It's how much the candidate can make with when that you go fundraising in a state. The higher your fundraising, the more money you bring in from those, fundraisers. The less. Charisma increases the effectiveness of speeches and ads. Appearance increases the effectiveness of interview appearances. Interviews happen once in a while, but they're very powerful. From what I've seen so far, that they're very wide-reaching and important in that regard, but they don't happen all that often. Credibility increases the effectiveness of your negative ads and decreases the effects of negative ads your opponent makes. Of course, that makes sense. If you're a credible person and someone attacks you on an issue, people are less likely to believe it. And if you're a credible person and you attack someone on an issue, they're more likely to believe it. So credibility is that. Experience makes it easier to win endorsements by decreasing their political capital costs. That's probably one of the biggest complaints one of the bigger complaints I have with the game. I'll explain that when we get in there. Basically, you get endorsements by accruing a certain amount of points, and I'll explain that later. Intelligence increases the responses available during an interview. Basically, if you have low intelligence, you have limited answers, and they're kind of the basic ones. The higher they are, the more in-depth you can get. I haven't really seen a real plus to high intelligence. I mean, you get better answers, but it doesn't... I find that it doesn't always work. My created character, the first time I played this, had a 10 intelligence, or 9 intelligence, and I had picked some of the more complicated answers that I thought would A, be good, and B, explain how I felt, and they weren't really... It didn't really help me much. It was kind of a convoluted, result, so... Media bias issue determines how much the press likes your candidate, which can sway independent voters. I haven't seen it in action. I think it's much more of a background, passive type of trait. Same with minority appeal. Minority appeal increases the amount of awareness generated by campaigning cues in areas with a large minority demographic. I haven't really seen that one often either. And religious appeal increases the amount of awareness generated by campaign HQs in areas with a large religious demographic. I've only just scratched the surface, and from what I understand and what I actually did in the game I played just a little while ago, very interesting in the way of what you can do probably with the religious and minority appeal. But I haven't actually tried it yet. So, what shall we do for ODOG ODOG? Stamina's important. Fundraising's important. Lower minority repeal and religion. Go up. Will increase credibility. Lower experience. I don't like experience. It's just my personal preference. Up charisma and appearance. We'll lower media bias and minority appeal. Now we'll keep that there. We'll actually lower money for fundraising. I think that over time it's better to be able to fundraise than have money starting. Alright, so then platform, where you stand on the issues. What I found out, again, from the last game I played, being a little bit more in-depth with it and looking at things, what happens is this platform changes as you campaign. So what happens is these don't these won't stay the same. This is just your base starting area. So like if you start off oops. Let's see. What's one that was quite high here that I see a lot? High gas prices. Say high gas prices. If you start off at 0 and don't touch it with the points that you currently have available, your campaigning, whether you oppose or favor it, will change depending upon how you campaign, whether that's through ads or speeches. So this won't stay the same. So the first time when I made the candidate, I was very confused because I was like, hold on a second, I don't have a lot of points here. This is weird. I'm not gonna all this stuff. And finally, I figured out, oh, it's because of you know, it changes as you campaign. Sorry, it took me like 5 seconds to get there, but so we are going to oppose bank bailouts. We're going to say yes, choose a deficit reduction. I like video game violence. I have not seen that pop up at all. We will slightly favor tax cuts, slightly favor state unions, and wait, what am I? I'm a Democrat, so actually tax cuts. Yeah, I should favor tax cuts, right? More money for education. Alright. So then it places your character in the candidate selection pool, and you can select them, so I'll select them. And we'll go up against, yeah, let's go up against Mitt Romney.